Now?
Now?
Are we live?
Mayhaps? Mayhaps?
I don't know. I need to close the door.
It...
Sorry, I'm streaming now. I'm closing the door.
I think it is live, so...
Ow, ow.
Oh, the door has
Okay.
been closed.
Sorry, that was me. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Clark. It's not. Oh look, we're live. Hey, my notification
yay.
came on. Yeah, that's fun. How's it going, everybody? Actually, I have a system. Just bear with me as I establish the system.
Got it.
I'm going on the YouTubes on my phone so I can follow the chat. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fandom Lives. Whoa! Whoa! Holy hell. Lauren Tonkin. Jeez Louise, thank you so much for the tip. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, we're welcoming very special guest and recent convertee to the TwoAllNighters payment plan. Cellochicita. Hang on, just bear with me. I call you Cello, but how is it actually pronounced?
It's Cellochicita.
Cellochicita.
Yeah, but everyone just calls me Cello. Or Cello if they've never heard of cellos as the musical instrument before, which I have gotten in the past.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I can see it because it's like cellophane or like, cell, but it's cello, but it's cello. It's
Yeah.
the musical instrument. So
Do you play the cello?
I used to in like high school, but then I haven't played it in 5 years, 6 years, so.
Okay.
But I'd love to get back into it. I just haven't had the time.
Oh man, I had no idea. I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
So anyway, before we do start with the strem, I have a few notices, a few notifications, a few PA announcements. So thank you so much for bearing with me. Just take a couple of minutes. First of all, TwoAllNighters merch. You should see it on the stream chat. Please check the description. Teespring, lots of stuff. I have the hoodie. It is starting to it's starting to almost like graft onto my body. Such is the frequency with which I wear it. It's very stylish, very, very fun, very cool. And, if you wear it to the next con, once all this COVID stuff blows over, and you see someone else with it on, then that's a connection that will last for the rest of your life. So, crack on.
Turn into the Spider-Man meme.
It's true.
The, like, pointing.
Exactly. Exactly. That is what I'm envisaging right now. Anyway, the other thing is I am trying my best to monitor the stream. Oh my goodness, there are so many people. Hello, everybody. Yeah, God bless you. Thanks for all the memories, guys. Thank you, Frisk Streamer. That's very sweet. Sally Turk, I love that hoodie. I love the hoodie too. It's why I wear it all the time. Please ask us questions. I'll do my best to monitor the stream. And yeah, it's really good to have you all. And God bless you all. Hope that you guys are doing okay. That you've had a reasonable day, afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. Cool. Yes, Lauren Tompkin, that is an astonishingly generous tip. Thank you so much. God bless you. If you would like an Undertale content creator to feature on another episode of The Fandom Lives, just let me know on Discord. I'm in the fan server. I will ask whoever you would like me to appear. I have been quite overwhelmed by who has said that they want to join, including, of course, you, Cello. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Honored.
And yeah, we'll keep this little party going. I'm very excited about who's coming along in July/August. It's going to be good. Anyway, I'm going to go straight after this stream is done. I know that you're busy, Cello, because you're doing some recording. That's fine. But
Yeah,
that's fine. No worries. I'm going to go to the Discord chat straight after this stream to say hi and to hang out for a few minutes. Please come and join me there. Also, we are attempting to kind of bring together the Fandom Lives and a new dub upload. That's kind of topical because it's me and Cello, and the dub features Cello.
Gasp.
So that's
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I worked.
Mm.
I spent too much time on it. Anyway, so yeah, that's going to happen as soon
No
as the
such
stream
thing.
is over. So we can order it like the stream finishes, then you watch the dub, and then you come on the fan server, and we can nerd out about it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a new series, and I'm very excited about that. Every 2 weeks, very neat. Oh yeah, first and finally, before we do continue, Weird Brianna, this is your shout out. A huge thank you to Michael King, who is the lead for the Undertale Remastered mod that we are about to play. Please check it out. Add it to your own game on ModDB through Googling Undertale Remastered. It's sick. There's lots of very, very pretty coloured sprites, as you are about to see. Cool. So, with that, I think that's everything from me. Anything from you before we begin, Cello?
I don't think so. I'm just super excited to be here, be part of the stream. I'm super excited to be part of TwoAllNighters. It's a recent thing. I don't know. I've been really happy to just jump immediately into working on a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, and like the audience is super supportive, and it's super cool, and I don't know. It's super nice. You guys are great. And you guys have been great so far, and I look forward to more. So,
amen. With that, we are going to begin by rolling these arbitrary opening credits. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to The Fandom Lives On. And we're back. We're back. Lauren's asked me to read out the super chat from earlier. Thank you so much for that generous donation. Here is my bone wrestling and fabulous gift to you at TwoAllNighters. Could you please shout out my friend Azalea, or Leah for short, who is about to start chemotherapy soon? Oh, wow. We wish her all the best.
good luck, Leah.
Yeah.
It's tough stuff, but I know you're strong and you can get through it. And we're behind you 120%. Stay determined.
112.20. That's a lot of percentage points.
112.20. 1,000 and a lot.
Amazing. So yeah. Thank you. And yeah, we do wish you guys all the best, and please do keep communicating us, because we love hanging out with you guys as well. So yeah. Okay. Let's begin. Oh crumbs! This is where I remember that we have like a video game that we're playing. I'm on the verge of fighting Asgore. Actually, before I do I have enough? Oh heck!
Better go back and get healing items at some point.
Yes.
That's probably a good idea.
While I do, why don't I ask the first question?
Yeah.
Who the devil are you? Tell us who you are, what you do, why you do it, how you do it.
So, okay. Basic intro to people who don't know me, especially since I am like new on the channel as well. Hi, I'm Cellochicita. Everyone just calls me Cello. I am a voice actor and a content creator, sound designer. Really, that's the eventual goal with things. I've been voice acting for, oh gosh, has it been 3 years now? Maybe more. I don't know, a while.
Bad a few.
But yeah, more than a few. A few is 3, so like more than a few, I guess.
Yeah.
Which has been a long time. I do Undertale comic dubs on my channel. You probably, if you have heard of my name, it's through the Growth Spurt AU dubs I have done with Wintermelon.
Yeah.
That's probably where I got like my biggest take off in the Undertale fandom. I voiced Undyne in a lot of things, a couple animations. I've also been working with Vade on his channel as his channel partner for the past 2 years now. So if you ever watch Vade stuff, most of the female voices, like all of them are me. If it's not Vade, it's me. But yeah, I love I love voice acting. I'm passionate about it, but after I got into voice acting, I got into sound design.
Mm.
I'm currently finishing up uh a higher education degree. I'm finishing up college as, an audio engineer. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Hang on. So what order does that go in? Were you
It
studying?
actually
Go for it.
it actually went in I discovered I liked voice acting as a hobby, and I was like flailing around and trying to figure out what to change trying to figure out where I wanted to be in my major because I wasn't pleased where I was at.
Hmm.
And then I found that I was like, wait, there's degrees for this stuff. Like, why am I not doing that? And so I switched to digital audio. So, and it's been great, and I've loved every second of it. So,
That's
really,
awesome.
really cool how that worked out. Honestly, I just kind of like stumbled into voice acting, and that led me to my career path now. So,
Yeah, that's genuinely brilliant. Um, wow, man, that's so cool.
yeah.
Um, so it's been about 3 years.
Hmm.
Most of it's, I mean, listen, we're playing Undertale, and we are
Right, right.
this channel is mostly known for Undertale content. Was it
Hmm.
Undertale that kind of first drew you towards the voice acting, or did the voice acting come first?
Um, I think it was probably Undertale and voice acting happening like simultaneously. I
Okay.
think watching Undertale comic dubs specifically is what got me into like watching comic dubs, and then got me into like, wait, I could maybe do this. This could be fun.
Mm.
Um so yeah, it was pretty much Undertale, and then I found other voice acting stuff. And I was like, this is just overall a cool, I guess, profession, a cool hobby, something to get into.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
And we'll talk in a
there's a
minute
lot of
about like obviously branching out from it and all that kind of stuff. But
right.
on the
Hmm.
Undertale, we get standard questions. Someone's I'm going to scroll up on the chat a bit. Someone's asked me
Hmm.
about, does it sound stupid when I say that I have my own Undertale AU with my own character? My answer to you, JE, is absolutely not. Create however
Hmm.
the way that you want to. I think that that sounds a really positive thing. And if you feel comfortable creating in that way, then do it. A lot of people do it
Yeah.
through things like RP servers and through fanfic and through like D&D particularly. Like I've talked about D&D on this stream. Oh
Yes.
my god.
Hmm.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get there. But like yeah, I guess like I suppose that's a neat little question before we carry on. Like, do you have
Yeah.
your own kind of mode of kind of creation in that? Do you feel like you're channeling other people's ideas in this sort of sphere, or is it that
Um,
do you feel like you can bring your own kind of ideas forward as well?
I think it in Undertale not as much, and that's just like kind of who I am as a person. I have a really hard time coming up with like um AUs or fanfics or like character creations. Like that's I don't know. That's not how I am creative. I think I create more in the way of I want to present something that people are already familiar with, but in a different kind of medium. So
Okay.
like yeah, it's like that's basically what comic dubs are. Like you've read this comic and you've experienced it one way. Now let's add audio. Now let's add visual to it. So you get an entirely different, like a three-dimensional experience than just
Mm.
experiencing the story. Um
Yeah.
and that's kind of how I have approached other some comic dubs. Like there are some times when I there was a comic I read, and as I read it, I'm like, I can hear the backing music to this. I know exactly what I would use. I have to dub this comic like yesterday. So so I just kind of sat down and I was like, okay, I know how I'm visualizing this, and I kind of want to share how I am visualizing it or interpreting things that other people create through tone, inflection, or whatever.
Yeah, and I guess as
Yeah.
well, like I relate to what you're saying because as
Mhm.
an editor, you have your own
Yeah.
vision as to what how you would
Mhm.
present it,
Yeah.
and so when sharing, when you're uploading a dub, you're uploading your interpretation of how that comic plays out in your head almost.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah, and it's
makes it
like, and
quite
every
personal,
voice
I guess.
actor comes into, okay, I'm gonna take this line of the script, or this line of, or like this facial expression for the character, but like this is how it sounds in my head. This is how I think it would naturally sound,
Yeah.
and so I'm gonna act it like that. And it's like comic dubs are just full of like a bunch of people's different interpretations of someone's writing, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and that's the thing. It's like a bunch of people dub a bunch like the same comic, especially with Undertale, where like
Yeah.
the
You
pool
don't have to go
throughout
far
the
at all,
years
do
has
you?
gotten smaller, but like every comic dub is different. Like I'd happily watch, like there's some comics that I'm like, yes, I could watch this over and over with different interpretations, and everyone has their own favorite ones. They're like, I like this voice maybe a little more than this voice, or I like their editing style maybe a little better. But like it's all personal
Yeah.
in the end. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, obviously, so you're playing Undertale or experiencing Undertale for the first time
Hmm.
about the same time as you're getting into the whole voiceover thing. You
Yeah.
start creating, you start looking at dubs that other people are doing, and you want to get involved too. How did you know? Like, maybe it might be helpful for those of us who are watching, myself included, wanting
Hmm.
advice because by God I need it. How how did you get started? What was the beginning point? How did it go from I
Um.
want to do this to actually starting?
So like it's actually a pretty like solid start point for me. It was, I was watching a lot of Starbot dubs. Was
Okay.
really into watching her stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and around the time that I was getting into the Undertale community online, and getting into comic dubs, they announced a voice acting contest. That was just like, before Christmas, like do a dub, send it to us. We'll give, and they had some prizes and some cool stuff and work and collab with us. And I ended up talking with my friend who was also getting into it, and it was actually her. She pushed me into it. She's like, let's do it. Like, why not? Let's just get into it and let's do it. And so I had never voice acted before. I had never edited a comic dub before, but I sat down and I crash coursed my way through it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for people trying to start. Like, I mean, you know what you want to do, but you don't know how. Sometimes you just got to get in and just like get on the bike and fall off the bike, but like get to where you're going eventually. I
Yeah.
guess if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And like I don't think that like voice acting contest went anywhere eventually. I did get contacted by Starbot and actually vade through all of that, and they asked me to collab with them on the, I don't know, they did a dub of Tale of Two Rulers, which is a Zelda comic.
Yes.
Like through all of
Yeah.
this, that was like the first thing I ever did, and I was freaking out
Yeah. That's
because like
awesome.
I'd never voice acted before, and they're like, "Hey," it's my idols that like I've been listening to forever, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to do a voice for us?" And I was like, once I'm done being passed out on the floor, yes, I would love to. So I don't know, it got me. I was very lucky in that I had a very early on like really good feedback,
Yeah.
that it was the first thing someone told me, "Hey, you have a good voice." That was the first thing that got me going like, "Okay, well that wasn't a horrific failure. Maybe I can do it again."
Yeah. Totally.
And I think that's important for first timers to get good feedback, to know like, okay, this is what you could do better, but also like you're in a good place and just keep going. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. And I know what you mean, and I know what you mean
Mhm.
about like the whole oh my goodness, just like being contacted by people that you really admire and being like, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, okay,
Yeah.
that's a crazy feeling. It's kind of a real,
Mhm.
it's a real high, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I suppose like you got to keep yourself grounded. I mean, it really feels
Yeah.
like it was a catapult. Really, do you think that's a
Mhm.
fair comparison? I mean,
It absolutely was a catapult. It was like 1 second I'd never done this before, and the next second I'm working with quote unquote, because they're not, but to me they were celebrities.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wow, now things are serious, and I have a lot more people that are going to be watching my stuff or watching my voice in things.
Yeah.
Which is like daunting when it's your first time. Now I'm in a lot of stuff. I frequently like go through YouTube and just search my name, mostly to check to see if there are people stealing my videos. But like, I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot I was in that thing, which sounds terrible, but like, I've done a lot of work, and so hearing my voice on recording is not as terrifying anymore.
Yeah, totally. And I guess you kind of get
Mhm.
over the sound of your own voice because everybody has that thing, don't they?
Yeah, well, because I mean, scientifically, like your voice sounds different in your head because it's rattling around in your head bones differently than people are going to hear it. Then people are going to hear it outside. And I think just the biggest way to get over it is just to consistently listen to your voice on recording, because you're like, once you realize that this is what you sound like and it's not, traumatizing and it's okay, like, I don't know. The two voices start to match up. That's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Is that like, yeah, because like the voice in your head, that your voice that you hear in your head starts to sound like the voice on recording. They start to become less incongruous, I guess.
Wow,
which is
that's a
an
word.
interesting thing. That's
No.
a big word. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. It's good. It's good.
They line up more. So yeah.
Lauren's asking, and this is on Super Chat, have you guys seen Has Been Hotel? What are your favorite characters?
I actually haven't yet. I've been meaning to. It's been sitting in my like watch later for months now.
Yeah.
I followed a lot of the like lead up to it being released and produced and finished.
Okay.
Like excited for it to come out and to watch it, and then I got busy. But I'm always busy, so it's fine.
I mean,
I need to find the time to sit down and watch it.
I recommend it as somebody who's in sort of your sphere. So like as a voice actor, but also as a sound engineer, it's really well made, especially when it is just people talking to each other via email. There is no central studio, you know, like it's pretty crazy considering that stuff.
Yeah. It's like that's why I was like super excited and following a lot of the production. There's a lot of names in there that I recognized, or I've liked their work for a while, or like I'm like, oh, I have done something briefly with Elsie Lovelock before, so
there you go.
did. Yeah, so I was like, wait, I know that name and I know that name, so I'm like obligated to watch it. So
I mean, you don't have to watch anything, but anyway.
but I would like to. So support I guess indie creators. So
yeah, I guess it's kind of it's encouraging to freaking to see it succeed. It kind of gives it gives me hope that kind of like growth is possible, but also like wanting to get better at what I do and stuff. Oh, thank you, Retro. That's really kind. Sorry, I'm looking at chat as well. Thank you for the donation. And yeah, Retro, keep them up, man. Like the only way you're going to get better is by just doing them and then doing more and doing more and doing more. I feel like I've said this previously, but you as an editor, I'm sure you kind of share this. You want every edit that you've done to be your best ever edit. You know, you want to be continually pushing to get better.
Definitely. I actually got a really interesting question in my public Discord server. Someone was like, how long did it take you to get as good as you are at video editing? And I'm like, listen, every day is how long it's taken me to be good at be as good as I am, basically. I mean, and I don't tout myself as a really stylistic and really intense editor. Like, I'm serviceable, so I'll take that. but every day it's every video I put out, I want to look better than the last.
Yeah, totally.
In a way, and I want to be like, okay, or when I watch other videos and I see a cool edit, I want to be like, oh, how did you do that? Can you show me how you did that? Can I find a tutorial to see how I did that? Because I want to do that.
Yeah.
And then learn how to make that your own kind of like style or your own little thing that you do. I don't know. It's
I mean, how do you ever look at like other people's work? I'm gonna die here. There's no way I'm gonna live this.
Snow piece.
Yeah, I'm not going to have the snow piece. Should I?
Uh,
Let's go one more
it-
turn and just freaking see how we go.
yeah.
I don't think
yeah.
I'm going to succeed on this.
Snowman deserves to see this, to see the like outside world. So
I agree. I also need to find the freaking bank thing and get the pie out. I think I kept the pie.
Oh
But anyway, I don't like this updated Asgore sprite as much. I think yeah, he seeing his eyes changes things, doesn't it?
I think it's his face. I like the rest of the look, like the shading on his armor looks really good. I love the gold mixed with the like steel or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think his face is just it's not quite there for me.
I think
overall it's very good.
The impact of the original artwork was that it was like, hey, you can't see his face. Oh heck.
Yeah.
You can't see his face.
Barely alive.
Yeah, I know. This is the first time I played through Undertale in a while, but like the original artwork is like you don't actually see his eyes. His eyes are averted. He doesn't want to directly make eye contact with you as he's fighting you because he knows what he's doing is wrong. So I don't know. I mean, this is us with our freaking editing hats on, reading way into every single little panel, and just like you know the dub that's coming out in a bit, like the one that we're about to go live on. Like I thought about the fact it was a black and white background, and then and then it jumps to a white background with a darker, just thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah, with darker stuff.
Yeah. Anyway,
you think about stuff like that, so.
I mean, one does if one kind of edits, right? Because I'm sure you've thought about the same stuff on the stuff that you've made.
Oh yes, definitely. There's sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish this panel wasn't square because I have to put just like a blank color background on it, and it doesn't look as good as if it was just like the whole. I don't know.
Yeah. But, so you've made reference to this before, but there was obviously you kind of, how do I put this? Your big break, I guess I've been phrasing it. Like how did you know that like this was a thing? Because you said that you did the first kind of voice acting stuff that you went into was with the Starbot Dubs contest. But then you were still doing stuff on your own channel. Right.
I don't know. I think it was just something that excuse me.
Oh heck.
I had a lot of fun doing, I think was the other thing. Like it was something that instead of just it was going well, it was something that Oh no.
Never mind.
Rip.
No, that's fine.
It was something that I enjoyed. I needed a hobby at that point in my life. I needed something to do. I was kind of in a place where I didn't have a lot of in real life friends, so I just kind of threw everything into online content creation and online communities.
Yeah.
And like voice acting was so much fun for me. So even as I was putting out stuff on my channel and it wasn't going anywhere, obviously as it does in beginning YouTube days.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely do things just like explode and you instantly get like even 1,000 subs and you start going from there. Like that's the exception way more than the rule. After I did like the Starbot thing, I worked for like an entire other year before I even had 100 subs on my channel. And like it was slow going, but like I enjoyed what I was doing, and I think that's what kept me doing it.
Yeah.
Which I think is incredibly important for beginning content creators.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
totally.
like if you're not in it because you enjoy it, then it's gonna just be miserable for everyone, really. Because like I don't know. It's just you have to like what you're doing, because if you like what you're doing and the video doesn't get received well, whatever. At least you enjoyed it and you made something cool.
Yeah, totally.
But like if you're into something and you're just in it for the views or for the clout or to get big and it doesn't happen, like that's gonna feel like way worse because you didn't even enjoy what you were doing up to that point.
Yeah.
Is kind of my like thought process. I'm like, I'm only in it to do what I like to do. So
oh my goodness.
It's not really selfish, because like if you're enjoying what you're doing, then people are going to like pick up on that and feel the passion in what you're creating.
Yeah,
and
you hope so, don't you?
That's gonna translate.
I hope. I mean,
it's gonna be better.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I agree with everything that you're saying. I am distracted because I'm trying to find a box, you know, like the boxes.
Oh,
Where's the
do you
nearest
have it
one?
connected to your phone? Because
Son of a
doesn't Alphys like connect it to
son of a.
your boxes to your phone? There's the
I've been walking
pie.
around. I've been walking around for the past.
You could probably also put the like snowman piece if you're not gonna use it for food in there and buy another junk food or something.
That's true. I mean,
That's
if
a
you but you need to have the snowman
strategy.
piece with you to get
I
the
guess,
ending, right?
yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
don't need the torn notebook. That's true.
you're right. Yeah, that's right. So,
Do you know what?
mm.
We're gonna splash out. We're gonna get a glam burger.
Ooh.
Glam burger.
Oh boy, have a sparktacular day.
Amazing.
Sparkular, not sparktacular. It's sparkular. My bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome, and I'm glad and I'm encouraged by what you're saying about finding a community, I guess, and I guess that's part
Yeah.
of what we're trying to do here, almost. You know, build a community.
Mhm.
Yeah, and well done everybody for kind of engaging and stuff. You talked about like the project that you're known for. Do you want to talk a bit more about that?
Yes.
Like, what is it,
Um.
and when did you make it? And
Right. So, the thing I'm most known for is Growth Spurt. AU dubs. It was. I don't know. It was like a lightning in a bottle sort of thing where all the stars lined up for it to work, I think. I did that. It was like Christmas 2017, so it's been a while. But again, it was like a couple months or like the Christmas after I ended up working with Starbot. And I don't know. I was reading the comic on Tumblr, and that's when it was starting. It was just like barely starting out, and I was like, these are really good. I think I want to dub this. I already had in mind that I was like, I know exactly who I want to voice like Growth Spurt
yeah.
Azzy.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
as I read it, I was just like, I'm hearing Winter's voice. Like that's and again, that's what I'm. It's like I could hear it in my head,
Mm.
and that's how I knew like, okay, I'm starting to get ideas. This is the music I want to use,
Yeah.
and
How did you meet Winter?
it was just we actually the first they were one of the first people I ever met in the dubbing community. I ended up in another voice acting group, and I think it might have been through Casting Call. They were looking to put together a dub group.
Okay.
It didn't really end up going anywhere, but I met a lot of really cool people through that, and that was the first time I met Winter, because they were putting it together. And I don't know. We've like got on like a house on fire, and I've been working with them for like 3 years now.
Mm.
And they're just great. They're super talented, and we do a lot of mixing work together over at Lemon Light Productions, if you've heard of them.
Oh.
Um,
They're doing
they
musicals,
do,
right?
yeah. I that's a whole other story. That's we did an Undertale. We did a genocide musical
Yeah.
way back when like Man on the Internet was doing the Undertale musical, and everyone and their mom was trying to do a genocide musical at that time because
Yeah.
they weren't. But like I actually co-directed the genocide musical and basically co-created. Like Lemon Light was created by a friend of mine, but I helped kind of throw it together, put it together.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I want to do a musical, but I've never
done it before.
I've never done a musical, and I don't really sing. And I'm like, I will do all of the music stuff for you. It's like, we'll write lyrics together, we'll cast together, we'll throw it together. I don't know. And like, and it's been going on for a couple years. We're in the middle of a Night in the Woods musical.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
getting pretty close to completion. So
That's neat.
I don't know. It's been a really good group, and it's been a lot of fun.
I feel like.
But yeah, it's like I work with Winter a lot there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I worked with Winter in Man on the Internet. We're both in that group. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, you meet one person at the beginning of your voice acting journey, and then you just keep bumping elbows because you're doing similar stuff.
Yeah. Especially if you're in the same fandom.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about the Lemon Light. I can't help but feel like I might have either done something for that or something very similar to it.
I don't think we've ever had you on the crew. It's entirely possible it might have been another
It might have been. It might have been another musical.
genocide group,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
because there are a lot of other genocide musicals. I know that there's people who have done, I don't know. Undertale musicals are just a really interesting subset
It's almost as
for
if
me.
it's almost as much of
It's
a how do I say this?
community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a community, but also just
Yeah.
a bit of a
hmm
phenomenon, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely was. I hesitate to say faddish,
Yeah.
but it was when Undertale the musical was finishing up and getting big, and everyone was like, I want to be the next thing.
Yeah, totally. I think that's
Everyone wanted to be the next thing, which
to,
I mean, I think is okay because
yeah,
doing a musical flexes a lot of different muscles. Like you have to, there's a lot that goes into it because you have to crash course through writing all of your lyrics,
mm,
and then you have to figure out like, I don't know, some of the Undertale songs are not that easy to lyricize, and you have to come up with like alternate melodies or whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
some are like given to you on a silver platter, you know, or you can just use other people's lyrics, or and then you have to go through like casting all the voices and then all the mixing process, and if you want to add different art,
yeah.
and then you have to go through the edit. Like there's a lot of different steps.
I guess it is a crash course in all of the skills required to run a
Yeah.
project, isn't it? So I guess it makes sense
Yes.
that people would
Yeah.
want to
So
try it and flex all
yeah.
those
So
muscles.
it was definitely helpful for me to be really heavily involved in the creation of Lemon Light and this like genocide musical, because I've I've been singing since I like could speak. I was in choir all through like high school, and I'm really passionate about singing as well. So it was like, this is like my home turf. I'm really comfortable. I had to get a crash course through running a project and casting a project and
Yeah.
helping direct a whole bunch of different actors. I've definitely gotten a lot of I've gotten a lot of experience rubbing shoulders with a lot of really talented artists, because I'm not artistically inclined like at all. Like traditional drawing like that.
Yeah.
But I've picked up a lot of vocabulary and a lot of how the process works, so I could feel comfortable, you know, working with artists and asking for, I like, you have a specific vision that you want in your head, and that's how I got really started into mixing music, which is something I do a lot in my degree. That was a good crash course into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we were like, we want to do all of these large choirs. Well, when you're doing a lot of chorus songs, you can't just like slap them all together and hope it works. There's a lot of like, you have to precisely time everything, tune everyone, make sure everyone sounds good together, and it's just
Yeah.
it's a lot, but it was a good, like, I don't know. Drinking from a fire hose is how it was, really.
But then
Because it was like, okay.
it sounds like in working through all of that stuff, you were not only using but also learning skills that would help you in your college degree, and it seems like
Yeah.
they're all kind of like bound together almost.
Yeah, no, it's like Lemon Light was starting before I had decided what I wanted to do, like before I had changed my major. And
Okay.
then I was like, oh, I can change my major to this and I also wanted to get better. I'm like, I can actually get like college level classes on how to mix better, which then I can bring back to my hobby work that I'm doing, and as a whole make all of our songs sound better, make all of my covers that I do sound better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really helpful. So
That's so cool.
it's like if I can like, they both feed off of each other, really.
Yeah.
Because like one showed me that I had like the passion for doing these things, and then I realized like I'm not good enough yet. It's like I'd love to get into this more, but like I'm to a point where my like teaching myself isn't good enough, or isn't going as well as I would have hoped. I need to jump to something that is going to teach me better. So
you, I guess we're going to go into like what you'd recommend and how you would advise
Yeah.
people, but it seems like one of your pieces of advice would be actually don't be afraid of pursuing education courses that would enable you to kind of improve.
Right. I think to a certain point, yes. There's a lot of my degree still that it's just like, just give me a YouTube tutorial. I don't need a whole class on this, please.
Okay. All right.
But I think overall there's a lot of knowledge and there's a lot of learning out there that I think people should not be afraid of getting dirty with it, just getting in there and getting all up in that and learning, instead of just like, here's the one skill I need to learn to get this correct effect for my video or whatever, or for my comic dub. Instead, go into, okay, let's look out and let's see, okay, here's a bunch of skills that I will need to overall make everything sound better, and I won't have to look up a tutorial every time because I can make it my own then.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
I've got something that's just continually ringing around in my head. Like, again,
Yeah.
I don't know that if Dungeons and Dragons is your thing, but I follow this writer. He wrote a series of books. He should be releasing his third one any day now, he says, but he procrastinates. His name is Matt Colville, and a lot of his advice,
Okay.
is actually really relevant for just creative people, not only people who
Mhm.
play D&D. And one of the things he
Right.
says is, we develop taste long before we develop skill, which means we
Yes.
know that we suck a long time before there's anything we can do about it.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of relevant, and I definitely feel similar. Like I felt like, well, this comic dub's okay,
Yeah.
but I don't yet know how to make it look
Mhm.
like the stuff that's happening over here.
Yeah.
I suppose I don't know if I asked you this question before or not. I'm
Mhm.
struggling to focus for some reason. It might be because I'm playing a video game at the same time as we're talking. But anyway,
Maybe.
the do you like? I suppose, do you ever feel intimidated by what you come across, like on your journey? Is there ever a time where you come across people who have a higher sub count and whose videos look amazing, and you look at them and you think, oh man, like you've said before, you've said a few minutes ago that you look at stuff and you want to find out how to do it, but
Right.
how do you kind of balance that with the feeling of, oh god, they're really good, oh man.
I think I think the first and like initially most intimidating thing to come across for me is when I see someone who's like way more wickedly talented than I am, and they're way younger than I am, and I'm just like, okay, like it's a little disheartening, but like I've done a lot of like introspection and made it a lot of personal goals of mine to try to not be as intimidated. Or there are sometimes I look at people whose I guess like editing skills are way more intense than mine are,
Mm,
and I think something I can do is I go like one of three ways. It's either like, oh well, I'll never be that good, or
ooh,
like, okay, I want to see how I can be better and emulate that. And then there are sometimes I'm just like, how about we collab so I can get like firsthand like a front row seat to all of that like creative goodness and see what you're doing, and we can together make something incredible.
yeah,
Um, which I think is incredibly, I guess, useful for beginners to know, is like collaborating with people is super important, because like you can't do everything on your own. Like I could sit down and be like, I don't have any drawing skills. I guess I see people who have really good drawing skills, and I'm like, oh, I want cool art for my video. I could complain and do nothing and be like, well, guess it'll never happen. Or I could go out and like work for 5, 10 my whole life to be that good at art. Or I could collab with them and be like, hey, do you want to do art for this thing I'm doing? Or commission them. Just stuff like that. Like other people's talents. Uh, okay, my brain is going like a million miles a minute. I guess bringing it back to the ultimate point is there's always something that you can do that nobody else can do as good as you can. And even if that's just like, no one can do my voice as good as me, like that's okay. Like
yeah,
but it's like you always have something, it's like always have something that you can bring to the table with
yeah,
collaboration or with working on something. Like get better at what you can, but at the same time like
Acknowledge your limits.
Acknowledge your limits, because it's not worth like killing yourself to try to be the best, because someone is always going to be better than you. That's the other thing on the internet is someone is always going to be better than you, or if you're just as good, someone's going to be better earlier on than you. Someone's going to be younger than you and have more time to get better than you. But like, instead of being like, oh well, I guess I'll never be that good, instead be like, great, you're good, I'm good, let's work together and make something not just good but like great.
Yeah.
Which I think I see a lot in like TwoAllNighters. There's a lot of people working on this on the channel as a whole. You've got a lot of editors, you've got a lot of voice actors, and it comes together, and you guys make really good stuff because it's not just one person working.
Yeah.
I have a lot of like personal struggle with my own channel, like letting go of control of a personal vision with content. But
Yeah.
that's just like, that's a me problem, where I'm like, yeah, I'll bring people on to edit, and then I'm like, oh, but like, what if they don't know exactly what I want it to look like? So I'll just do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do what I do. That's bad. That's something I'm working through like currently.
I mean, having a clear vision as to what you want is
Yeah.
not necessarily a problem. In fact, it
No,
can be a good thing.
it's not a problem, but I think it can be detrimental when you don't allow other people to look into your vision as well.
Yeah.
Cuz like sometimes they can look at your vision and be like, that's awesome, I love that, here's a suggestion to make it better. And sometimes, yeah, you're like, oh, I didn't even think of that, because a second pair of eyes does a lot for that. You can be like, I didn't think about that, that's great, let's do that. And I mean, and it's totally okay as like a project head to be like, thanks for the suggestion, but no. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Totally.
learning to say that is hard. It's hard on both ends. Like learning to accept that and learning to say that is good.
Yeah.
Cause like you're allowed to be like, no, that doesn't really mesh with my vision, and or like I don't really want to change it. But I think you also have to be open to like, okay, everyone's on board with my vision. They're just coming at it with different ways to maybe make it better.
Yeah.
And if I let them, it'll be like easier on my workload. Oh no, Asgore, no,
Oh.
no, go Papa. Oh, that looks really good. That like dust effect.
It's great.
Oh, that looks really good.
Doink.
But yeah, I guess that's just yeah, collab with people, learn to use other people's strengths and acknowledge that you have your own. I guess would be my
Yeah.
If we're wrapping it all up in a nice quote to answer that question, that's what it is. So
I mean, you're answering a lot of points on the questions that I'm kind of hoping to kind of go on to here. So like, there's a lot of advice here. There's a lot of kind of guidance. I'm a big fan of obviously collaborating, and I guess YouTube really allows that, doesn't it? It's a medium. It's a platform where collaborating with other people is not only like easy, but also like an effective way to reach more people and to improve your skills, and it's just like a win-win for both people.
If you're collaborating with someone, that's like instantly like twice the audience, because you get their audience and your audience.
Yeah.
So it's like you get twice the audience, and like you make something cooler than maybe you could make yourself. It's a win-win. So
I'm gonna kind of I mean, you've talked about how what you've done on the internet has kind of overlapped into your personal life. So we've talked a bit about what you're doing outside of the sort of whole content creation thing, because it's very much your college course, and it's very much what you've been building skills towards in real life, which is awesome. There's a question that I've really felt is like the central premise of the whole series, which is about the balance between like producing things that you think people will like against producing things that you want to produce. And like I'd be interested in hearing your like thoughts on that.
I think it's tough. I think I have it not so bad. Oh, that's really cool. Sorry, that sprite work where he changes color is also very cool.
Totally. Oh heck.
Because
And I'm off the game. I need to
dear.
open the game again. That's fine. Keep talking. It's fine.
I'd say because YouTube isn't my sole job.
Mm.
I have a I do YouTube content creation, but I also have a 9 to 5. I have a day job, and I do school, obviously. But I have it okay because I don't have the pressure to constantly be putting out the money making videos because it's not my only
Income
source
stream.
of income.
Yeah.
It's not my only income stream. So I'm very lucky that way, in that I kind of have let myself do whatever I want, really. My channel is for me.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh, who's your audience?" I'm like, "Me. It's exclusively me." So, and if other people like it, that's awesome. But like, I definitely have felt the pressure before, because I've switched from, I did a lot of growth spurt AU dubs, and when there was a lot of content of that to put out,
Yeah.
and I did that, and it was awesome, and I got a lot of really good, like, everyone was commenting on it, people were doing great, the YouTube revenue was up, everything was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe I can like quit my job and just do YouTube like full time while I'm going through school.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's just not as much of those comics anymore. And that's fine. Like, the creator is, he's busy doing other stuff, and that's not like, creators get tired of doing the same stuff over and over.
Yeah. Totally.
And like, it's nobody's fault. It's just the nature of the beast. And I had other projects that I wanted to work on. Currently, I'm in the middle of a cinematic dub, um, of a video game I really like. So, of One Shot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, that was purely a, I want to do this for me. This is a game I really enjoy. This is a game that, excuse me, that I don't think a lot of people know. So I wanted to do it, and in jumping into that, like, in the back of my head was that it's not gonna do as well. It's not gonna do as well. It's, you should just do more Undertale stuff. It's not gonna do as well. And then my brain was like, no, it's my passion project, and I'm gonna allow myself that.
Yeah.
But it can't. And it hasn't done as well as my Undertale videos, clearly.
How do
And
you balance that?
Uh,
Like,
I
how,
don't
how
know.
how do you reconcile that feeling of, well, I want to reach more people with my my content, and I want to do what I'm passionate about, and they don't necessarily always
They
mix.
don't line up,
Yeah.
and I think they can. I think it helps with the stuff I'm really passionate about. I have a really, it's like, it's a smaller little audience watching all of my one shot stuff, but they're very vocal, and it helps that there was also like newer people coming in, because there are people who have only found my channel then through the one shot stuff I've done, and that was a pleasant surprise.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Um, I mean, and it was like, it was a drop in the ocean compared to the ocean that was like the people who flocked to my channel for Undertale stuff, but like,
Yeah.
it felt more meaningful. And that's not to like discredit the like audience I had before, because they're all lovely too. But it was like, at least someone was watching, and I had a couple really good comments that are like, this is the best part. It's like, I love this. I look forward to the next stuff.
Yeah. Totally.
And that I was like, okay, there is someone watching, and they're counting on me to get it done. I think was the other thing. I think it also helped with just like one shot in particular,
Yeah.
that like, I worked, it was the first time I directed a project of my own with a bunch of different actors and stuff like that. So I had my own cast now that was also relying on me to get a project done, because I've been in so many projects that I've been cast for that then just like
Kind of.
die on the vine.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Amen
just
to
like,
that.
you're in the middle of something, and then the motivation dries up once the first video doesn't do as well, and you're like, well, I was excited about this project and doing it, but now it's gone
Yeah.
because
I
the
guess.
director got bored.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. And I've lost count of how many times that's happened. It's probably, you know,
yeah.
the reason why I couldn't remember the name of the Undertale musical I did is because that is exactly what happened to the Undertale
Right.
musical.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
go for
sorry.
it. No, please carry on. I want to hear what you
It's
think.
not just an Undertale like thing. It's just a problem that comes with project management in general. And
Yeah.
that's something that like I literally took a class on project management in my college like courses.
Yeah.
Like it's something that they're even teaching at like a corporate level. So like you're not a terrible person if projects go horrifically awry because it happens. But I think it is definitely I'm more interested in working with people after a project is done, like if they've kept motivated and finished a project. I'm like,
Yeah.
that was awesome. We got in, we did our stuff, and we got out, and it finished, and it felt great. I don't care how many views it got. I want to continue to work with you.
Yeah, and I
Is
guess
what it comes down to.
an example of that is Winter, right? Like, he's a guy who
Yes.
you wanted to work with after. Oh God, I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna die. Yep, I'm gonna die. And now the game's gonna switch off. You know what? I think I might start the next stream fighting Omega Flowey, because we're at the. This is kind of awkward. The whole format. It's like I have to focus on what you're saying, but also the game is really difficult
and
at the same time.
not die.
Yeah, but no, we'll get to it. Oh no, this is the stuff of nightmares. What I'll do is I'll end it there. I think you've gotten onto a lot of really really interesting points, and I know we've only just started working together, and I suppose a message that I would have for you is that I hope I can prove to be the kind of person that you're talking about there, someone who can be depended on and relied on and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't want to go too overboard with the video series that's about to be released in a few minutes, because I wanted that to be something that was small enough that I could manage and make good. You know what I mean?
It's very important to not bite off more than you can chew.
Exactly. And
Definitely.
that's the thing that I've learned from those other projects that didn't quite go as well. So I guess to summarize, the advice is, don't bite off too much that you could. Don't make too many commitments.
Yes.
Be flexible when obviously projects do break down. Don't think too much about it. Don't blame anybody.
No.
And just keep going, I guess.
Don't blame anybody, but learn stuff. Be like, okay, this is what didn't go well. Here's how I will fix it if I do my own thing.
Yeah, and also, here's what to look out for if there's common traits through projects that just don't have much.
Here
going
are the
for
red
them.
flags.
Yeah, totally. Right. Hopefully that gives Fandom Trash, you donated €5. Thank you. Hopefully that's some advice.
Thank you.
Do you have any more general advice for like voice acting in general, or?
I would say voice acting in general. I'm sure a lot of people who are asking about it have heard it's not just doing a voice. You're bringing a character to life. So, because it's way more important that you have expression in your voice, and rather than I don't know, making something unique. Like I'd much rather listen to someone who's a good actor rather than someone try to exactly mimic a voice, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know that's hard. That's definitely a practice trait. I've never taken acting classes, but I'm a perpetual drama queen. So
basically the same thing.
I claim that's my acting experience, but like the other thing is it's very, very important to take care of your voice. Your voice is your it's your instrument, basically. And if there's a voice you're doing, you're like, oh, this is a cool voice. If it hurts to do not do it. Please come up with a different thing. I almost regret my Monster Kid voice at this point, because it's like gargling gravel. I can only do it in spurts, It's like, yo, I'm Monster Kid, and I'm like that like tears up my throat a little bit. It's also because like my voice has been a little weird for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But if I could go back, I probably would have done something different.
See,
but it's too late now. It's too late. That's what I have.
That's a piece of DM advice as well. You can do wacky voices, but also know how to emote through them in case anyone asks a deeply personal question. And, I wish someone had told me about that looking after voice thing before I started voicing Papyrus.
Oh, I mean...
Oh, God. Same. Yeah.
I guess other thing, it's like, don't be afraid to stretch your range.
Yeah.
I voice a lot of like lower female range characters. Like I've voiced Undyne forever. When Deltarune came out, I jumped like immediately into voicing Susie, and I
Yeah.
voiced a lot of Susie in Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And like those are great, but like another voice I'm known for is Alphys, which is like surprising because they're complete opposites.
Yeah.
Like one is really high and like quavery, and the other is like low and shouty. And there was a while there where I got some really negative feedback on my original Alphys voice, and I didn't touch it for like a year because I was like, everything's over. I guess I'll just stick to voicing like the lower voiced characters.
Yeah, but you'll never know
But
what you can do if you don't stretch yourself, I guess.
exactly. It's like stretch your range. I'm still garbage at accents. Accents are the things I should probably like practice more. And that's the other thing. Like if there's something that you're like, oh, I'm not so good at, like it's okay to just like sit in front of a mic and like make silly noises until you figure something out. That's the thing about voice acting is like you're completely by yourself. The only one to judge you is yourself. So it allows you to kind of like
experiment.
It allows you to completely be like inhibition-less.
Yeah.
Like I don't do so well in front of people. Like if there are people in a call and they're like voice act on cue, I'm like, no, excuse me, I can't do that in front of other people. But like in front of a mic, it's just me. So like you can go as crazy as you want, and very rarely can you go too far. I think it's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, I'm too expressive. It's like, no, like
yeah.
be wise about it after the fact, but keep every take. That's the other thing with voice acting is keep every take.
Yeah.
Because like you never know when gold is going to happen, and if you're like, oh well, that was garbage, and you throw it away, you're like, no, that might have been the best one.
Yeah.
You got in your head with it. So
yeah, and you don't know that the director might really like it, and your opinion might not necessarily ring with the directors. Speaking of stretching yourself, we're about to finish. I promise.
Yep.
No, it's okay. But before we do, I'm going to send you a word on Discord, and I would like you to read it, please. This is our recurring theme, the Dob Nobble Challenge. Every guest has had to do it.
Okay.
And yeah, this is a voice acting challenge, I guess. Crack on.
Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's long. Okay.
Just take a minute. You don't have to just jump straight into it.
Okay. Incredible dribble dibble double dobby dob nubble.
Whoa!
I think I missed a dob in there somewhere. I can't read. That's the other thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh. It's like when you're voice acting and you get into a long paragraph of text and you're like, those aren't the words at all. But oh gosh.
Never mind. Don't forget to do it yourself, James. Oh no, I listen. This is a word of my own invention. You can just take it on faith that I can read it.
Oh, it's like, did any of them actually know what it like looks like, or they're just like going off of what everyone?
I can put it in the YouTube chat. Oh, no, I can't. It's not on the thing.
It's like you gotta keep the mystery.
Yeah, that's right. The word.
Like, no one knows how it's actually spelled.
The word is incredida dibble dibble dribble drabba dabba dibble dobby.
I was impressed. I was very impressed.
I got so close.
You did really good.
Incredida dibble dibble dribble drabba dabba dibble dobble dobby dob nubble.
There. I'm amazed. Tongue twisters are another good voice acting warm up.
Yes, totally. That word. There. Cool.
One.
So yeah, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That got a bit surreal, but yeah, I appreciate it. And again, I love this because I get to talk to loads of people about like what I'm trying to get better at, and my guests are trying to get better at it too. And you're a case in point. And I really feel like I've learned something here. Like I feel like I've picked up something that I'll watch this back. I'll try and.
No, I mean, same. I'll have to look back and see what nonsense I was spouting. But other people, it comes from watching other people to learn what you want to fix in yourself. So. Yeah.
So thank you, and I hope that's been helpful for you guys as well watching. I've been really impressed. Like I've been really thrilled by how many people have stuck around as well. Thank you, and we'll carry on and we'll attempt to kill Omega Flowey. I remember the first time I played Undertale, I gave up on Undertale because I thought, oh, this is impossible.
This is unbeatable. Oh no.
Yeah, and then when I was looking at like the AU stuff that I was looking into afterwards, because I was like, Undertale, I need more of this in my life. Then I was like,
Right.
no, this has to be beatable. So I grit my teeth. And you'll,
And you did it.
yeah, and you'll see me try again to relive that
Yeah.
experience next time on the Fandom Lives. The guest. Oh, yeah, I need to give a clue as to who my next guest is going to be. It's going to be someone that we have talked about in this stream.
Oh.
Who, yeah, I think that's probably enough of a clue. Really,
Yeah, it's like go back and watch the whole thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta check
Yeah.
the.
in extent. Yeah, brilliant. God bless you guys, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Have a wonderful afternoon, and God bless you, Cello. Thank you for sharing your time. Do you have
Yeah,
any
of course. Thanks for
closing
having me.
remarks or?
Stay awesome. If you want to get into voice acting, just jump into it with both feet. Self-taught is best taught, and don't be afraid to lean on other people.
Amen. That's an amazing summary.
Amen.
I love it. So we'll see you guys very soon for the next Fandom Lives.